Good morning, students. Okay, as you know that in previous session we discussed about the inverse of the matrix. And as I told you before that the inverse sometimes does not exist in some cases. It means that if the given matrix is non-singular, then only the inverse exists. Otherwise, inverse does not exist. And as the definition says, if two non-empty matrices we have, and if their product is capital I, that is identity matrix, in that case we say that they are inverse of each other. This is what the definition of inverse matrix is. Now let us talk about the invertible matrix. The definition is very simple. If the given matrix is non-singular, that is if the inverse exists, such matrix is called as invertible matrix. We need to find its determinant. If determinant is 0, then we say that the matrix is not invertible. If it is non-zero, then we say that the matrix is invertible. Let us see this by one example. I have one matrix, say capital A is equals to 1, 2, 3 and say 8. Now let us check whether it is invertible or not, and as I told you, let us try to find its determinant. So determinant of A is equals to 8 minus 3 to the 6, which is equals to 2, and which is non-zero. Here you can observe that the determinant of A is non-zero. It means the matrix is non-singular. It means its inverse exists. So such matrix can be addressed as invertible matrix. So every time whenever you are asked to check whether it is invertible or not, whether the given matrix is invertible or not, in that case we'll just go through its determinant. If it is non-zero, then we'll directly say that the matrix is invertible. Okay, now see, it's not that easy कि हमने कोई भी एक मैट्रिक्स लिया और उसका inverse find out किया. There are three different methods to find the inverse of the matrix in our syllabus. The very first method is elementary row transformation method. The second method is elementary column transformation, and the third method is adjoint method. Using these three, any one of these three, we can find the inverse of the given matrix A if it exists, provided that it should exist. Now, before we proceed, before we discuss about these three methods, let me tell you exactly what is the meaning of elementary transformation. In simple word, we can say that elementary transformation is nothing but the elementary row operations or else elementary column operations. It means that we can perform some row operations or column operations on a given matrix as per our requirement, as per our convenience. Okay, let us see the same using a simple example. Now suppose we have one matrix A whose elements are say 1, 2, 3, minus 2, 4, 0, 3, 7, 5. You can observe that we have one square matrix whose order is 3 cross 3. And now let us see how to perform elementary row operations as well as elementary column operations. Now what for we need to perform these operations, that we'll study later on. But before that, let's see how to perform those operations. The very first operation that we can perform is we can interchange the rows. We can interchange any two rows or columns of the given matrix as per the requirement. Let's see, R1 interchange R2. We can perform this operation on this matrix A. So in this matrix, you can see that the first row is, the elements of first row are 1, 2, 3. The elements of second row are minus 2, 4, 0, whereas the elements of third row are 3, 7, 5. And we are asked to interchange these two rows. It means that after performing this operation, let me tell you, the third row will remain as it is. All the elements will remain as it is, that is 3, 7, 5. And we'll just interchange the first two because we are performing the operation on R1 and R2. We are interchanging them. So let us interchange the elements. What is the second row? Minus 2, 4, 0. This will become first row. Minus 2, 4, 0 will become first, whereas 1, 2, 3 will become the second row. This is how, as per the requirement and convenience, we can interchange the row. Second operation that we can perform on rows and columns, that is we can multiply any row or column by any non-zero scalar. look at this particular operation. Suppose that like 3 into R3. It means that here we are multiplying the third row by 3. Let us see what happens after multiplying the third row by 3. In this case, as you can see that we are multiplying R3 by 3, it means that only the third row will change and the first row will remain as it is. Okay, let me tell you how do we count the rows. This is the R1, this is R2 and this is R3. And as I told you, we are performing the operation of the third row. It means the first row will remain as it is. The first row is -2, 4, 0. The second row is 1, 2, 3. And only the third row will change. And the elements of third row are 3 3s are 9, 7 3s are 21 and 5 3s are 15. This is how we can multiply any row or any column by any non-zero scalar. That will be do as per the requirement and convenience. This is the second operation that we can perform. The third operation is we can add or subtract any two rows. Suppose, let us perform the operation on this matrix only. Let us perform this operation, that is R2 plus R3. Now R2 plus R3. Now after seeing this, after watching this, we feel like exactly on which row we are performing the operation, right? Obviously we are adding these two rows, but cause of these rows, cause of this operation, exactly which row will get changed? The first and the third will remain as it is. As we are writing R2 first, it means that the second row will change and the first and third will remain as it is. The first row is -2, 4, 0. Okay, and third row is 9, 21, 15. Okay, now we are performing the operation R2 plus R3. As we have written R2 first, it means that we are going to change the second row. And we'll just add these two elements. Corresponding elements we need to add actually. How to add the rows? We need to add the corresponding elements. So 1 plus 9 is equals to kitna? 10, whereas 2 plus 21 is 23, whereas 3 plus 15 is 18. This is how we can add or subtract any two rows or columns as per our requirement or convenience. So such type of operations are called as elementary row transformations or elementary column transformations. Now the question arises, why do we need such transformations or operations? As I told you before, we have three different methods: elementary row transformation method, elementary column transformation method, and adjoint method. We use these three methods to find the inverse of the matrix. While performing or using the first two methods, we need to perform such type of operations on a given matrix to find its inverse. Okay, now let us check it out, how to perform those operations, how these operations are helpful to us to evaluate the inverse of the given matrix. Let us see the same using a simple example. Suppose we know one relation, that is a matrix and its inverse. The multiplication of two gives us identity matrix. Matlab, suppose A is equals to 1, 2, 3 and 7. We have this invertible matrix capital A and we are asked to find its inverse. The method to find the inverse of such matrix is very simple. To find the inverse, we are going to use this relation, that is A into A inverse is equals to I. That means that a matrix and its inverse, the product of these two is nothing but capital I. Let me tell you one thing. In general, we write the inverse as 1 upon A. Okay, but here we don't write it as 1 upon A. We write it as A raised to -1, that is A inverse. So let us read it as A into A inverse is equals to I. We are going to use this formula to find the inverse of the given matrix A using the elementary row transformation method. Okay, now let us put the values in this formula. The A is given to us. What is A? It is 1, 2, 3 and 7. The elements of A are 1, 2, 3, 7. We don't know what is A inverse, so let us write it as it is, which is equals to 1, 0, 0, 1. No need to check, because I already told you that the matrix is invertible because determinant is 1 which is non-zero, it means that the inverse of this matrix A exists. So let us try to find it directly. As I told you, we have put the value of A and I. I is an identity matrix. We'll use the identity matrix of order 2 cross 2 because the given matrix A is of order 2 cross 2. Okay. Now, let us start performing the operations on the matrix A. Unless and until we get a unit matrix at the left hand side. And whatever operations we are going to perform on the left hand side, simultaneously the same operations will have to perform on the right hand side. We'll keep on performing the row operations unless and until we get unit matrix. That means 1, 0, 0, 1 we want over here. And same operation will perform at the right hand side. Let's see what happens after performing the row operations on this matrix A. Now, we have to convert this matrix A into identity matrix. It means that we want 1 as a leading element, we want 0 over here, we want 1 over here, and we want 0 over here. So we'll need to change the elements one by one. Let us concentrate on the first element. The leading element is 1. So no need to worry about it. Let us concentrate on the next element as it is 3. And we have to convert it into 0. We want 0 over here. So to get 0 over here, actually we need to use the uppermost or any one of the row. There is only one row. Obviously we'll take help of the first row only to get 0 over here. Let us perform the operation R2 minus 3R1. Now the question arises, why do I need to multiply the first row by 3? If I multiply the first row by 3, obviously I'll get 3 over here because 3 into 1, that is 3, and 3 minus 3 will become 0. Therefore, we'll choose to perform this operation so as to get 0 over here. Okay. Now, as we are performing the operation on the second row, obviously the first row will remain as it is. So let us write the first row as it is. 1, 2 into A inverse. At the right hand side also we are going to perform the same operation. So at the right hand side also the first row will remain as it is. The elements are 1, 0. Now let us perform the operation on the second row. What the operation is? R2 minus 3R1. So 3 minus 3 times 1. I'll write it here. 3 minus 3 times 1. 7 minus 3 times 2. 7 minus 3 times 2. So let's see what happens after performing this operation. So you can observe that 3 minus 3 is 0 and 7 minus 6 is kitna? 1. So obviously the elements of second row are 0 and 1. We were expecting 0 over here, but fortunately the next element also we got kitna? 1. So let us not worry about this element. We'll perform the operation to get 0 over here only. But as we perform this operation at the left hand side, we'll have to perform the same operation at the right hand side also. Let us perform it at the right hand side. R2 minus 3R1, that is 0 minus 3 times 1. 0 minus 3 times 1. 1 minus 3 times 0. 1 minus 3 times 0. Let's see what happens after performing this operation. So 0 minus 3 is minus 3 and 1 minus 0 is 1. So the elements of new second row of the right hand side are minus 3 and 1. Minus 3 and 1. You can observe that now we are able to simplify, we are able to transform the left hand side, the matrix A, into identity matrix. We have got 1, 0 and 1. Now we have to convert this 2 into 0 so that the entire left hand side, the entire matrix A will be transformed into identity matrix. Now can you guess which operation that we can perform to get 0 over here? Yes, you are absolutely right. We'll have to perform this operation, that is R1 minus 2R2, because we'll have to multiply this by 1 by 2 because 2 minus 2 can become 0. So let us perform the operation at the left hand side as well as right hand side. Let's see what happens after performing this operation on the left hand side. While performing this operation, we know the second row at left hand side as well as right hand side will remain as it is. So elements are 0, 1 into A inverse, which is equals to, at right hand side, the second row will remain as it is. Let us perform the operation, that is 1 minus 2 times 0, 1 minus 2 times 0, which is equals to 1, and 2 minus 2 times 1, 2 minus 2 times 1, that is 0. Yes, you can observe that we got 1 and 0 at the first row. This is how we have transformed the matrix A into identity matrix. Let us perform the same operation at the right hand side. Okay, R1 minus 2 R2, that is 1 minus 2 times minus 3, 1 minus 2 times minus 3, which is equals to 7, and 0 minus 2 times 1, 0 minus 2 times 1, which is equals to minus 2. So the elements of first row at the right hand side are 7 and minus 2, 7 and minus 2. So this is how, by performing the elementary row operations, we got identity matrix at the left hand side, and we got a new matrix at the right hand side by performing the same operation on identity matrix capital I. And let me tell you that the inverse of the given matrix is nothing but the matrix that we have got at the right hand side. That is, at last, directly you can say that, therefore, A inverse is equals to 7 minus 2 minus 3 and 1. This is the inverse of the given matrix A. By performing the elementary row operations, we got the inverse of the given matrix A. Now the question is, what about this matrix? How to verify whether our answer is correct or not? And it's very simple, as you know the definition of matrix, or else you can see the formula, A and A inverse gives us I. You can verify whether the answer is correct or not. Just multiply these two matrices, A and A inverse, and check whether their value is I or not. In dono ka product, the multiplication of these two should be I, that is 1001. If their product is capital I, it means that we are through. It means that our answer is correct. The inverse of the given matrix is 7 minus 2 minus 3 and 1. This is how, by performing the row operations as well as column operations, we can find the inverse of any matrix, provided that the determinant should be non-zero. We have taken a simple example. We have considered the matrix of order 2 cross 2. I'll suggest you to try one example of order 3 cross 3. Take one matrix of order 3 cross T, perform such operations, and try to get identity matrix at the left hand side. And whatever operations you are going to perform at the left hand side, perform the same operation at the right hand side. Definitely you will get the inverse of the given matrix capital A. Okay, so I guess by performing the row operations as well as column operations, you people will be able to find the inverse of the matrix. In the next lecture, we'll see how to find the inverse of the matrix using adjoint method. Okay, now till then I'll suggest you to go through some exercises that I'll give you on a WhatsApp group. Please go through it. Till then, stay home, stay happy, and stay healthy. Bye-bye.